Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Backlot Pass. I'm joined by the magnificent Mimi Lesseos today. How's your day going today, Mimi? How's it going so far?
Well, I'm on your show and it's going fabulous so far. Every day to me is like, just an amazing miracle because we wake up and the sun is shining or raining, and I feel blessed.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. No, it's always good to just wake up. You see the sun shining, and you just get ready to, just get ready to go right into the new day, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Thank you for having me on your show. Yeah, I really appreciate journalist students. My daughter is a journalist, and I really have a heart for you guys, and that's why I'm on your show. I want to make it to where, you're like the dude. You get the people on your show.
Yes, for sure. And like I've said before, no, just once again, it's truly an honor to be talking with you today. And just thank you so much for letting me have this opportunity to talk with you. First off, I want to get into your background. I was reading that I believe it was when like you were 11 or at least around that age. You took your first judo class. This is a very important moment. What do you remember from your first judo classes, and how did your love of martial arts grow from there?
Well, let me tell you, Sam. My first judo class, what I remember is my uncle Gene LaBelle. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he was, teaching the class, and I just remember all my judo classes. Come here, you're ugly, kid! Bang, and throw me against the wall and choking me out. When you can't breathe, you start to feel that you are fighting for your life. And at that age, you're like, okay, fuck. I'm just sorry. Can I say fuck?
Oh, yeah. Listen,
Okay,
totally
good.
fine,
Sorry.
totally fine.
you know, and and that sort of made me feel tougher and more like I wanted to fight and I wanted to live. I come from a part in Los Angeles where it's called Silver Lake. Yay, Silver Lake. And my mother's Mexican, my dad was Greek, and they got divorced when I was 5. So my whole entire family, I'm the baby of 5. They got into a gang called 18th Street, even my mother. And it's violent, lots of drugs, lots of crazy parties at our house. And it was, hard for a kid to grow up that way. And you see things that you're not supposed to see, in a normal household. And I didn't live in a normal household at all, at all. So the fighting, um, to me, came in a part of my life where it wasn't violence on the streets, gang banging. It was for a purpose, for a positive purpose in my life. I left my house when I was 16 years old just because I mean, not that anybody said no. I mean, they were all gone, my brothers and sisters. My mom was who knows where, and it was time for me to leave. And and that is when you're on the streets and you're trying to fight for your life and your childhood and you're trying to be an adult all at the same time before you're an adult. The fighting comes in handy, the professional fighting. So judo to me was very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did it feel like, to use, that energy through martial arts? And, how big of a boost was it for you mentally at the time?
Wow, it kind of felt like it gave me power, you know, um, being the baby of 5 and feeling helpless and feeling like not having my life in control and not having anything or anybody to turn to, the martial arts felt like it was home, like it gave me a sense of purpose and structure because I didn't have any structure, and so, it's you don't just start fighting, you have to train, and every step of your training before you get to a black belt is really hard, and that it's almost like going through life as a kid, you have to go through steps. And it really brought me to appreciate structure, and to appreciate uh there was a lot of guidance in the martial arts. You got, to learn your throws, and you got to learn your everything. It was amazing to me. I didn't just stick with judo though. I went into a lot of different arts.
Yeah, definitely. What, so I guess what would you mind doing, just giving some of the, just some examples of some of the other arts that you eventually went into, and kind of how you got into those?
Yes. I've trained with a lot of different people in the martial arts along my life and along the way, and not just martial arts. I started with my uncle Gene LaBelle, who's a grappler, who's a judo, and then I went into training with Gokor Chavichi, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a very, very long time, very credible Olympic style wrestler in his younger years, and then he trains all the UFC people, but he's a big time grappler. So I got into grappling, and I trained with Billy Robinson, who was the man of a million moves. I trained with a lot of different boxing trainers, and Frank Trejo, who is Kenpo karate. So what I did is I kind of mixed up everything instead of staying with one art. I mixed up everything, and when it was time for me to get into, I had the opportunity to get into pro wrestling. I sort of mixed up everything, and I was in a lot of different leagues in the pro wrestling era. And when I went to fight in Japan, which was FMW, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, it was it was really cool because now everybody calls it MMA, mixed martial arts, and back then it was it was just, it was mixed martial arts, but they think it's a new thing. So with FMW, they would just pair up everybody up against anybody. It wasn't like wrestlers go up against wrestlers or judo. It was everything. So you were able to use all of your talents, and it was super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, right? I guess from your perspective, how have you seen, I guess, martial arts, change? I mean, I'm not exactly like the most experienced person in martial arts, but I'm curious from your perspective, like, are there any ways that you've seen it change or evolve from when, you were, first getting into it to, right now in the present?
Well, I believe that when I was getting into it a long time ago, it was simply just that art up against
Hmm.
that particular art. Now everybody is into the mixing up. And that's how I see the change. It wasn't that way back then. But I like it very much, to where it's all mixed up, and it's not just one art. You could mix in boxing, you could mix in, judo, I mean, what happens when you're in a boxing match, right? Like they did with Muhammad Ali and Tony Inoki long time ago. It was a professional boxer with a professional Japanese wrestler, right? And they wanted to see who and how long, and and really the wrestler, the boxer only has, the boxing moves and the jabs and the blocks. But when he gets down on the floor, then the wrestler comes in and the grappler comes in and wraps him up, you know, and arm bar, leg bar, choke out, whatever. But, and you can't keep boxing when you're down on the ground. So it's really good to, even the normal person who's not a fighter, just a person who, like you and everybody else, needs to take some sort of martial arts, and not just one, a whole mixture of martial arts, just for the gratification of your body and your mind, to know that you can if something happens on the street.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And like you mentioned, I think it's great that you got into a variety of things, right? Right. You didn't just go in one lane.
Right.
You involve yourself in everything.
Yeah, I try to. I try to, because the world is so vast, it's so big that, if you just stick yourself in a little corner and try and be like so great in that little corner when everybody else is competing against you in that corner, why not just hop over to somewhere else and grab what the world has to give you?
Yeah.
It's so big. It's really an amazing thing. And I know you wanted to ask me about mud wrestling, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I never mentioned that before, and the Television Academy, which I'm a part of and a voting member, they had this big contest, right? And it was about maybe 6 years ago or 7 years ago, and it was to all the members, tell my story to all the networks, right? Like 600 of, your peers and the heads of the network on stage. And I'm like, oh, wow, let me tell my story. So, and there was like maybe 1,000 to 1,500 people applying for this. And you had to go through a process of doing it. You had to videotape yourself and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, amongst all that, I won, and they picked me and like 10 other people to tell our story. And they appointed me 2 writers, and those 2 writers were two of the writers from Game of Thrones. I'm like, what? Oh my God. So I'm the kind of person that documented everything in my life. I always had a camera, always had everything. Every single thing was documented. And so I brought in all my stuff, everything. And I had to keep it down to 10 minutes of my life story and how it had to um, deal with television, right? Because it was the Television Academy. So I brought in all this stuff, and they kept grilling me about all these stories and about this and about that. And oh my God, they got so much out of me that I always had suppressed and hid in my life. I felt like I was born when I was maybe 25, maybe 22. Because before then, I wanted to just forget about it. I wanted to forget this, but they pulled it out of me. And they're like, you have to tell this. I'm like, I don't want to tell it. I'm embarrassed. I can't. And they did. And I pulled out everything, all my fucking secrets, everything. And I did it in front of the Television Academy, which was 600 people and all these people. And I couldn't believe I did that. And in the meantime, I told how my family came from a gang and how all this affected me really bad, and how I left when I was 16 years old, and I didn't have anywhere to go, and I had no money, and I had nothing. And there was this place in Hollywood called the Hollywood Tropicana, and it was like this nightclub. And I was 16. I said I was 18. And I went there. Somebody said, oh, you should go check it out. I know the person who owns it. So I went, and it was like this nightclub with the DJ booth and a mud pit in the center. I'd never seen anything like that. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, and they said, go get a costume and a bikini, and then you dance around all these men and collect tips while they're holding up the tips, and you take off your costume and you have a bikini, and then you wrestle another girl in the pit. I'm like, uh, okay, okay, I can do that. So I got a job there, and I didn't know anything. I went to this costume store on Hollywood Boulevard. It was called, it's still there, the Hollywood Costume Store. And it's really big and really cool. And I didn't have any much money at all. So I bought a little bumblebee outfit. These girls had like lavish, unbelievable costume. I had like a little dumb bumblebee, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. And and I didn't even know how to be sexy. I didn't know how to anything. And so I got this job there, and I must have been like the corniest girl the first day there. And then all the girls, they sort of like, they were older than me, and they had boob jobs and they were all sexy, and I was like, I didn't know what to think, and they're all drinking tequila bottles, and to get numb from to do that shit, right? So I learned from them to get my sexy on, and how to work a crowd. I mean, and I collected a lot of money. And then I was able to wrestle another girl in the mud pit, and then get more money for that. And I was like, oh my God, what? All this money? And that's how I got to hire all these different trainers, was from this money that I got from doing that. And then even sometimes the guys in the audience, even Bon Jovi was there with his manager. I have pictures of it. I have pictures of fucking everything. And they raise the bid, and they get to wrestle you in front of everybody. So poor girls. Girls are always being exploited and used, you know? And we have to go through that. We don't have to, we have a choice. But I knew that that wasn't for me, and that was just a stepping stone. And throughout my life, there were many stepping stones and many detours. And I always embraced my detours. What young girl at 16 wants to do that? I don't know anybody who would say, I want to do but you're sort of um not forced, but if you want to get somewhere in life, and I was born and raised in Hollywood, and you have to do something. And funny thing is, at the same time I was paying for trainers to train me to get the hell out of that mud pit, and to professionally train and really be technical. I also um, put myself through cosmetology school. I didn't know where my career was going to go. Was I going to be an actress? Was I going to be a fighter? Was I going to be a beautician? Was I going to be, and here is my license from 1985 of Marinello's. I put myself through cosmetology school, and it's like there's so many different outlets in this life that you have to plug into, and if one works out, God bless you, but you have a whole bunch of other ones, also. And so that's how that whole, you know, mud wrestling came about. Is I didn't have money, and I was a young kid, and I needed an outlet. I needed something. And that actually helped me when I became in front of all these crowds, and it helped me to um, become a personality, become Magnificent Mimi. Sorry, I'm about to cry. That's really ridiculous. But it did. It did. Um, just working the crowd and being able to be, the person that I became, it helped me a lot in that young age. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's no, something that I've I personally have a lot of respect for is you were able I mean, at least in my opinion, I think you're able to make the best of kind of, no, kind of,
Right.
like you mentioned, what girl is gonna want to be,
Exactly.
who's gonna want to be in that situation. But what you did is at least, from my perspective, you made the best of it, and you were able to kind of to, I guess, in a way, sort of take advantage of it in your own way.
Right. And support myself. I didn't have to take up with a guy, to help, to live with him and do all that. I was independent. I was able to make that money and get a little apartment and all that stuff. Put myself through cosmetology school at the same time, and earn enough money to hire trainers to teach me technical, I mean, it was a freaking hard, very, very hard. It was not easy. And I was always trying to find a family, really. Um, uh, Basically, that television Emmy thing that I did, telling my story, it was telling how television really impacted my psyche, my soul, my heart, and my life. Um, when I would watch television back in the day when I was young, back in the day when I was young, it I would watch shows like The Brady Bunch. I would watch shows like The Partridge Family. I would watch shows like My Three Sons. These were all really cool, sweet, domesticated shows where my life was absolutely nothing like that. I mean, nobody sat at the dinner table. Nobody asked how my day was. Nobody helped me with homework. Nobody ever read me a story. No, I mean, it was completely different. And I was like, what? Is that how a family is supposed to be? Wow. And then I started thinking, I think my life is dysfunctional. I didn't think it was before. And I really wanted to change it to where it was like the television shows, you know. And I always told myself if I ever had kids, I would raise them that way, where it was, I would read to them, I would cook dinner for them, I would everything. And that's how television really, really impacted my whole spirit. I wanted to be like that. I wanted that so bad. And so I've always looked for a family in that mud wrestling, a family in the martial arts, a family in the pro wrestling, a family in the stunt world, a family in anywhere, just let me belong. But I've always been the outsider, kind of like and so I had to make my own path in my own world, instead of trying to belong, you know, and yeah. So I broke my chain. There was a chain that I was connected to, I felt like. Yeah, and I started my own path.
Yeah, and I think I think that's so great is that you were able to forge your own path, and make it on your own. And I think that's something that I have so much respect for is you, I mean, gosh, throughout your entire freaking career, you worked your ass off to get to where you are right now. Worked your freaking ass off.
Yeah, and it's really, as you well know, it's everything I chose, it's a man's world. Everything I chose. I didn't choose to be a nurse. I didn't choose, you know what I mean? I chose to be a fighter. I chose to be a wrestler. I chose to be a stunt woman. I chose to be a producer. It's all men. It's all a men thing. And to have to fight for that is very difficult. Just to fight because I'm a woman, just to fight because, I mean, just the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, I want
But
to,
you can't stop fighting. You know, if you feel that you're not accepted in one business and you keep fighting and fighting and you're so unhappy in that business and you're just so life is not supposed to be that way. There's so many choices, and just move on. Take it for what you had and bang, get the fuck out of there. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
still
yeah.
have one foot in, still have one foot in. But really, start with all your other things that you can do. We're all talented. We're all human beings. We all, if we put our mind to it, we can do anything, anything. And you don't have to go to college for that. If you want to be a writer in your heart, start writing. And the more you do it, the more you do it, the longer 3 years of doing that every day, my God, you'd be professional. Seriously, you know,
Yeah, and I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, gosh, there are like just there's so many options out there, right? I mean, there's so many things. There are so many things you can do, and
totally.
and yeah, and like exactly like you mentioned, no, no, if you want to do something, well, like just go for it. Just
Right.
get yourself involved. No, get right into it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's how I did with the professional wrestling. I basically, started training and training and with all these different people, and I had already been training. So by the time, my first match, it was a promoter, sweet little guy. Oh my goodness. His name was Joe Palumbo. And he actually had some really good wrestlers. And we did it at Universal Studios. He was a sweet guy. He owned a hamburger stand, but he was the promoter and he owned the league. Um, and and then I got the connection to AWA, and they were wrestling at the Showboat in Las Vegas, and that was kind of my first time, um, um, like really getting the bug of wanting desperately just to be in the ring, not to be the star. Yes, the star, but not really. And the money, there was no money. I mean, it was like, fuck, you'd get paid bullshit. So it was, and you had to pay for your own rooms, you had to pay for your own everything. It was ridiculous. But there was great wrestlers, legends who were there. Fucking legends. I was like, wow, me, and I'm there. And there were a lot of the older wrestlers were nice to me, but the newer ones absolutely were threatened. And I don't know why they were threatened. I mean, but I knew I was not a jobber. I was never a jobber. I was never a worker. I'm a leader, not a follower. I'm a person who knows what I want and who should be a star, who should be, you know, and there were a lot of women who did not like me. I would walk in the room and everybody would be quiet and they would never talk to me. So I've always been a loner, always, my whole entire life. I'm good with that. So I would go in the corner and start sewing my costumes and start, they asked, what, traveling with all that. They asked if I wanted to, bunk with some of the girls. I'm like, no, I'll pay for my own room. Always had my own room. I was never, ever signed with any contract. I was never owned by anybody. The only people who booked me were not the bookers, were the owners of the leagues. Vern Gagne, just all of them. They booked me. I was not booked by the bookers. And I'm glad because I didn't want to be owned. I didn't want to be one of those girls who were a worker and then turned into what they wanted me to turn into. I told them what I was and who I was. Brought in my own costumes, brought in my own flair, you know. Uh, and and there was a lot of negative vibes from a lot of people, but not the veterans. Veterans as in Judy Martin, uh, Leilani Kai, Velvet McIntyre. They were, oh, God bless them, man. They were the badasses, because they treated me decent. Wendy Richter let me go in her private plane. I mean, when we went to, it was just so, they were very nice and decent. The other newer ones just didn't like me. They sabotaged a lot of things in my wrestling career. But that's okay. I moved on. You want to see a picture of Wendy Richter?
Oh my gosh, of course, yeah.
Oh my God, me and Wendy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was super
Wow.
awesome. And there's some really good, fun pictures that I brought in. Look at Johnny Valiant back in the day. And Magnificent Mimi was look at Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Magnificent Mimi was a person who was um flashy, who wanted to give the audience what they expected, a good show, entertainment, something fabulous. And I was always a person who was tough, strong. Yeah, I worked with the other girls well. I made them shine when I needed to, when I was told to. And I gave the audience what they wanted, and I wanted to leave a legacy of a stamp of Magnificent Mimi. I wanted to show the up and coming girls. Oh my God, sorry. I wanted to show them that you can be tough and you can be strong and you can still have your self-respect and always be yourself. Be who you think you want to be. Don't be ruled by anybody else who's telling you who to be and what to be and all that stuff. And if you are in such a predicament, then move on to something else, something bigger and better. Always use it. I used all these as stepping stones. Wrestling wasn't my absolute career. It was my stepping stone to move up. You're always changing in life, always evolving. Evolve. So, if you want to be a professional wrestler, you want to be a professional fighter, then be the fucking best at it. Be technical, not just, here's my tits and here's my ass and here's my bra and panties. That's not wrestling. Look good, look beautiful, but be a badass and back it up with your technicals. And a lot of the girls didn't like me because of my outfits and my costumes and all the flash and all the feathers and all the headdresses. I just wanted to piss them off. And I wanted to show the audience that we can be feminine and gorgeous and hot, but I'm going to kick ass just as well as the guys do in the ring, you know? And but now the wrestlers are, it's a different era, you know. It's all, it was for entertainment back then, but it's really all entertainment now. They do crazy, weird, stupid stuff out there. Really, it's just, I mean, it's unnecessary. Just be a fighter and be hot and fucking kick ass, and you don't need all that marshmallow fluff, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I can definitely say this. You definitely left a legacy, no, in professional wrestling. I mean, you accomplished so much. I think, no, no, I think I think I was reading something like that. I think there was like at some point, when you were wrestling, there was like a list of like the most popular wrestlers, right? And I mean, you were right up there with Hulk Hogan at like the top of his powers, and like you're
Oh,
like
wait,
right up there with
wait, let's see. Oh, wait.
him.
Um, I appreciate that. I really do. I thank you so much because it really touches my heart. Wrestling was and is um very close to my heart. Very, very close. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it was fun, it was actually really fun before this getting to like because you have quite a few of your matches and they're on YouTube stuff. So I was
Right.
able to like go back and watch it and I think it's like so great. It's like so fun to watch because you have the mix of
Making me
the
cry. Stop.
no, no, I'm being honest. Like seriously, you have the like this great blend of the charisma and like you said, being flashy. No having great character work out there, and
Yeah.
then but then also backing it up in the ring.
Oh my God, you have to. Exactly. I feel that you can't lose your femininity. By being a woman, be a woman. If the audience wants to come see a guy fight or wrestle, they're going to see the guys. Don't shave your head. Don't become a man. I mean, unless you want to, but stay feminine. Stay looking like I'm woman, I can fight. I'm woman, I can fucking beat your ass. But I'm feminine and cute. Don't you want to kiss me? Ah! And if that's what I can leave, my mark is to still stay feminine, stay true to yourself, but be a badass and back it up in the ring. Don't just think you can walk in the ring and then, strut your stuff and that's it. Know what the heck you're doing in there. Know every counter move, know everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely, for sure. So obviously you were a badass in the ring, but you're also a badass on the screen, and I really want to get into just kind of how like how did you start making producing and writing your own movies?
Well, isn't it funny? um, you know, with me, it's when you piss me off enough is when I jump the next level. Isn't that weird? It's like, I'll show you, motherfucker. um, so I was doing these movies. I uh started I starred in this one movie called American Angels, and I was also in Playboy. They did a whole 6-page centerfold of me, and a bunch of the other girls who were in the movie also. But I was like the star in the movie, Magnificent Mimi, and it was great because they were like, "Do you want to star in this movie and do your own stunts?" And I'm like, "Fuck yes!" And so that sort of helped me know that I can do it. Um, and and then this other producer came up to me and asked if I wanted to star in 2 of his movies, and that was with Eric Estrada. It was called The Last Riders, and then what's his name? His name will come up in a minute. And so I starred in these 2 movies, and it was with PM Entertainment. And the producer said, "Oh, Mimi, do you want to produce and star in 3 of our movies, 3-picture package?" I'm like, definitely. What? So he took poster pictures of me and blah, blah, blah for all 3 pictures and all sorts of stuff, big promises. And it never panned out. And I'm like, damn. And so I got more of the bug, the film bug inside me. And I thought, God, and I was doing makeup because I remember I told you I did I had become a makeup artist and a cosmetologist, and I did makeup for all sorts of different movies, and I started assisting, and then I became the head makeup artist for a bunch of different movies. And I was, and as a makeup artist, I put myself into um special effects makeup and got my license for that also. So it was like movie monster stuff and all kinds of badass. And so I became the head special effects makeup artist and makeup artist for these different movies. And then I met a lot of different people. And when I produced my first movie, I reached out to those people. You always have to have connections, you really do. And so I reached out to those people, the stunt coordinator, the sound guy, the DP, the director of photography. I reached out to a bunch of different people. Oh, and a producer that was on that film. And I asked them, if I wanted to do this film, would you be able to work with me? And so I wrote the script, Push to the Limit. And because I was fucking pushed to the limit, I had been done with people promising me. It's like I've always been promised all these things, and then it's kind of like a fishing reel. And I've been on the other end of that damn reel, and they're like reeling me in, and oh. So I wrote the script, Push to the Limit, and it was kind of like my life, except my brother didn't die. I sort of movieized it. And I wrote this script, Push to the Limit, and I financed it with half of my money and went to my rich friends and asked them if they wanted to match me with my funds, and they did. And it was a real small budget. And I didn't know how to produce any movies. What do I know? But I knew I could do it. I knew I could. And so, I'd been on the movie set many times, and I knew I could, and I knew I had these friends who I could pull in and they could help me. So it was, I think the budget was like $120,000. And we filmed in 12 days, and we had all the different locations. I had these mansions because they were my friends' mansions in LA, and the boxing gym. It was the boxing gym that I was boxing in, and all the martial artists, they were all people that I knew, and they were all friends. So I brought in everybody it was all like friends, and it was a project of passion. It was just something I knew I wasn't going to make money on. Everybody else got paid. I didn't get paid. I just, dispersed the money. And but I made my first film. And then I'm like, oh shit, I have a film. Now what? Oh, and I ran out of money. Ran out of money post sound, which is like after you're finished, And then you have to do the sound, and you have to bring in the composer to compose all the scenes. And you have to bring in, the sound effects guy and the Foley and all this stuff, the footsteps and all. I mean, there's so much to it. And then back then it was filmed on film, not digital. So, and I had to learn all this. This was a learning process. I didn't go to film school. So every process was a learning process. And I did 7 times, and so I basically was learning along the way, ran out of money, and then I told my sound people, okay, just hold on. I'm going to take this gig in Japan, and I'm going to go fight in Japan for 6 weeks, and I'll get enough money to come back and then pay you guys, right? And in the meantime, I cut a trailer and of what I had, all the footage I had. So I cut like a 3-minute trailer, and I looked in the distributor book. There's this book where all the distributors around the world. So I looked in the distributor book um, for Japan, and I knew, because in Japan, what happens is wrestlers are like fucking rock stars, man. They put you on the cover of every fucking thing. It's amazing. I loved going there. It was my favorite. So you're like real big time. And so I knew, well, God, I'm going to be on the front cover of this and that. And I was fighting in Tokyo Dome, 60,000 people. I'm like, fuck. So I'm always the kind of person to take advantage of things like that. So I cut a trailer. I looked at the who the distributors were, film distributors for Japan, and I contacted them. And I said, listen, blah 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 blah. My name is this, and I'm going to be in Japan, and I'm fighting blah blah blah. And can I meet up with you on my day off? And show you my trailer. And so they did. And they saw me on the cover of all these papers, and they're like, damn. So they bought that territory. And that territory was my whole entire budget. They bought it for $150,000. And that was like my, and I had the whole world to go up against. So then I found a distributor, and then they did it for me, and I got the money, and then rolled it on to the next Beyond Fear and Streets of Rage, and all the next films that I did. And the more I did it, the better I got. So
Yeah.
don't be ever afraid. If you want to be a filmmaker, jump the fuck into it. Don't wait. Don't just say, oh, well, I have to do this before I have to do that. And just jump into it with your eyes closed and jump. Just do it. Just do it. Just jump into the business. Because everybody always thinks, oh, well, I have to prep for this and I got to do that. Just do it that way. And then if you fail, it's not really a fail. It's sort of just a learning block.
Yeah, and I would say that kind of ties into like what we've been, what we've been talking about this whole time, right? Is just get involved, do things. I mean, like you said,
Exactly.
you didn't even go to film school. I mean, you learned on the job.
On the job. Right.
And like and it's great because again, whenever I watch your movies, and I want to make this point very clear. Whenever I watch any of your movies, I can tell that from you it is a labor of love, like truly. Like I can tell that your heart is in each detail, each scene, like that's all you.
Right. And, as the producer and the writer and the star and the financier and just everything, I am not so big that I pass by a grip pulling cables and that I can't just stop and help him pull them. That's me. Everybody knows that that's me. I'm not too big to do that, you know. I will stop and help and I will do and I will, it's all a process of togetherness, not just, you know, make me look good. Okay, you stand over there and bust your ass and make me look good. Mm-mm. It's all together.
Yes, absolutely. And, I'm curious, kind of what was like the writing process like for you when you're writing your films and,
Yeah.
developing each unique story?
Funny thing, Sam, I always come up with a title before I write my story. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I do that. And somehow that title helps with the character and the personality that she is, and um so first I do the title and then I write out a storyboard, what each little scene is going to be. And then sometimes I even do like little captions, figure captions, figure little storyboard things of fighting and how it feels. But I mean, you always have to have a beginning, a middle, and the end. And then how many scenes, and then you have to calculate how long it's going to be. Gosh, nowadays it's like 2.5 hours. What the hell? Back then was nothing. That was like it 90 minutes at your most, was the film that, so you always have to sort of calculate. Um, and especially with action films. And then there's a formula to action films. So you have to sort of follow that formula. And within the first 10 minutes of your film, you have to really make it interesting instead of blah, blah, blah. People they're not into, that. They don't stay, a lot of people's attention span is not very big or very long. So I always figured that within the first 10 minutes, you have to have something action and have it make sense, and you can't just throw in tits and ass, but you sort of have to throw in a little bit, here and there in action films, that's what I did. But you have to make sense of it, not just throw it in anywhere for any, certain, because, oh shit, it's time, I have to throw the tits in, uh, so I always feel that, the writing process is, and you can't just go with the first draft, obviously. You have to go many, many, many drafts until you're really tight. Some of my films, I could have gone many more drafts, coulda, but I think I was anxious and just wanted to, jump into it. Um, you know, the writing process is, you have to think about the dialogue and what your meaning is to the movie and what your whole point is at the end. Did they get something out of it? Or are you just doing it just to do it? You're just putting in the shit just to put the shit in, you know? I always try to put a meaning in there, that her character, she's always a different person. It's not Mimi Lesseos, it's Bonnie or somebody, it should, but that her character is strong and doesn't start strong. She starts out weak, but builds a strong, and then in like in Personal Vendetta, she was an abused housewife, turns police officer, gets stalked by her ex-husband Timothy Bottoms, who gets out of prison. And she's not just a badass. Okay, yay, I'm a police officer, I'm a badass, I could kick your ass now. She starts having flashbacks of him beating her up, and when he comes and stalks her, she just freezes. And he beats the shit out of her again as a police officer. And then she has to build up her confidence all over again. Kind of real, So, you try to put in the realness, not just, yay, I'm a superhero now.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm glad you
Kind
mentioned.
of relatable, that way
Right.
it's
Yes.
relatable.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned Personal Vendetta because that's probably my favorite of all the great movies that you made. That's probably my favorite. And of course, I think it's awesome that you got to work with Timothy Bottoms, another favorite of mine. But like you mentioned, no, your character, no, she goes through an arc,
Yeah.
and she evolves as
Yeah.
the story goes along, and that's why it's so satisfying when no, when she ends up kicking ass, no, kicks that guy's ass. There's that payoff.
Yeah. Kind of like in a wrestling match. You
Mm.
don't just, you don't just beat the shit, beat the shit, beat the shit because nobody fucking cares about you. You have to sort of let them beat the shit out of you a little bit and then fall and then come back, because they accept it. With the movie, it's the same way. You can't just become a superhero all of a sudden because they don't believe it. Real life isn't that way. We stumble. We stumble along our superhero becoming, who we want to be. We stumble so much. And we still keep trying to pick ourselves back up because we can. We can all pick ourselves back up. We're not in such a predicament, even though you may think it. There's worse off than we are. We can always pick ourselves back up and give ourselves confidence because nobody else is going to give you confidence. They don't want you to see you raise higher than them. So you have to love and believe in yourself. But we're always getting knocked down.
That's a, no, that's a very good point. And when you get knocked down, like you mentioned, what you gotta do is you just gotta pick yourself back up, and just keep on forging along.
Exactly. Exactly. And sometimes we get so devastated that we think there's nobody out there for us. There's nobody to help me. There's nowhere I can go. There's nothing. There's always something. There's always something. This world has so much. If you just open up your eyes, because sometimes we're so scared, we keep our eyes so tightly shut, and we just keep thinking over and over all this bullshit bad stuff. Open up your eyes for a minute. There's some good stuff out there, man. Real good stuff.
Yeah, I can absolutely say that's very true. Sometimes I think that people they get too caught up in like the negative stuff, and it's if you're like watching
Right.
the news, or you're scrolling on your phone, and it just like feels like
Yeah.
it's like negativity, negativity, negativity. What I like to do sometimes? I just like to go outside and just take a walk, and just surround myself in nature, and that can usually see that ends up leaving me when with some good feelings, if we just go
Absolutely.
out,
Yeah.
just go out, see what's out there. It's it feels good. It feels good.
Absolutely. And to be creative is super cool. I really, really enjoy being creative. Like I do paintings and I do sculptures and I do um these flannel jackets and I do jean jackets and I do all kinds of fucking shit. Like right now I'm doing I have an Etsy store and I'm doing these really cool plaques that are it's funny that are post party tables. They're not tables, but it's like I'm sure you're too young to know, but if you ever been to like a Hollywood post party, like a party, and then afterward you see the table, and it's like, what the hell just happened here? All the joints and all the beer cans and all the stuff. I do that and then I resin them and it's like in glass. It's Super cool. You want to see one?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Why not, right?
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can bring you. Can you still see me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, hold on. This is one. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Wow, that is
And
awesome.
that's like real candy, that's real popcorn, that's real everything. And they're all in resin, like it's glass. And that's post party, like joints and buds and fucking, you see that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then my favorite beer, which is, oh, and this one's called Movie Night. So it has all the Fast and the Furious, it's got all the stuff, it's got, and the vials of Coke is not real Coke, it's just, but the buds are real buds. You see that? And it's all done in resin, which makes it hard and really cool. Hi, I'm walking upstairs. I'm in my house. So yeah, that's kind of, stuff I'm doing right now. Sort
Right.
of fun. And then you see in back, see the back?
Yes.
I'm a life coach. And I have been, this is for Mind Valley. It's a really cool organization that is all about meditation and all about self-healing. And I'm one of their life coaches for them. And I've been doing a lot of, on stage motivating and inspirational talks. And, I go to different companies and different colleges and stuff. So I really want to, in this time of my life, I want to reach out and motivate and show what I've learned and tell what I've learned and inspire people who really want to change their life and want to step up their game, because a lot of people are stuck and they feel that they can't move out of where they are. And so that's what I've been doing lately. That's my I do a lot of things, a lot of creative things and then a lot of motivational speaking and stuff. So, you're always evolving higher and higher and expanding your knowledge and I don't keep my knowledge. I try and give it away to people, whatever I'm learning, I try to give it to I have this all my platforms are all motivational. Everything I do, it's not about me. It's about you guys. It's about how freaking great are you and how much can you accomplish in your life? I just turned 60. 60. And with all the knowledge that I have accumulated, I know that everybody and anybody can do anything they want to. It's all right here. And it's all right here in your mind and in your heart. You got to want it. You got to love it. You got to know that you can do it. And I came from a family and an area and everything that, a lot of people say, oh, I could never be that because of the family and the area I came from. Hey, it's not your family or your area that's in here. It's you, and if you, Sam and me, because of your podcast, can inspire so many more people and reach out to them so they can know that they're a badass and they can do anything they want. That's my motivation. That's my inspiration for your show.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a life coach, being a motivational speaker, for you, what have been the most rewarding parts of of doing those things and having those experiences?
Wow. Well, I tell my story. This is a book called Break the Chain, Reach for the Heavens. And it's every story that I've told you, and with every picture, with everything, I enjoy telling my story to people who think that they're stuck. And then they come up to me and they are in tears and they tell me, wow, your story just touched my life. And I think I can change. And a lot of people, sorry, gee whiz, a lot of people think that they are stuck. And you don't have to be stuck because there's so many choices in this world. And so that's the most rewarding to me, is to know that I've touched people just by telling them my story.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, and I just think it's, it's great that with what you're doing, you're having a positive impact on people's lives. And I think that's amazing. You're working to inspire and empower others. And I just have so much
Right.
respect for that.
Pardon me. And by being a single mom, I waited till I was 34 years old. I mean, not, it was kind of an accident. I didn't mean to get pregnant, but when I did get pregnant, I was dating a guy for, about a year, and I got pregnant, and he wanted me to have an abortion, and I was 34, and I found out it was twins, a boy and a girl. And I wasn't about to abort something that I could make an impact. I was always waiting for a family. And I never really found a family in anything, not in the wrestling. They didn't accept me, not really in the stunts, only because the stunts, because when you produce movies, you're not just a stunt girl. You know what I mean? She also produces movies. Let's not hire her. I've come into a lot of bumps in my road, you know. But when I had the kids, the guy left me when I was 4.5 months pregnant and left the country. And it was very challenging for me to be a single mother and still keep my career and still keep my house and still keep everything. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. And when I was really, really pregnant, I did a show. I was 4.5 months pregnant, and I didn't really, sorry, I don't mean to cry. It's just a touchy subject, And I did a show called The Mike Hammer Show with Stacy Keach, and I starred in it. And I was 4.5 months pregnant, and I didn't tell anybody that I was pregnant. And I did all this big, huge stunt scene and acting scene and all this stuff. And that was the last time I did any kind of stunt, while I was pregnant and while I was anyway, while I was, like 6 or 7 months into my pregnancy, I needed money desperately. So I got a job in a glass factory. And and you got to go through what you got to go through, and you feel humiliated, but you got to go through what you got to go through, you know and I raised my kids exactly how I thought. And my family, my mother was not involved, my sisters and brothers were not involved, it was just me, and when I worked I had to hire babysitters, and they were on the set a lot when I would work on Malcolm in the Middle. And uh oh, I sound like a crybaby, don't I? Sorry. It's just, when you become a mother and you have to do it by yourself, and there's twins and there's little babies that you have to raise, it becomes very hard. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in my life. And when the kids came, I was able to have a real family. Oh my God, it was me. I was the mom finally. I was like the Brady Bunch mom. I would read to them. We would do so many cool things. They became the coolest kids in the whole world. And now they're 25. And um, my son works at Disney Studios. He's since 20. He's a programming engineer, and they love him. He's like he's oh gosh, this kid is a genius, and I'm so grateful. And then my daughter, she's a newscaster, an anchor and newscaster. She was with NBC, now she's with Fox in Fresno, Fox 26. And I'm just so proud of both of them. They love me to death, and I love them so much. They were just raised by me, a single mom, but what a cool mom. I brought them everywhere with me. We did everything together. They were my dates on the red carpet, always. I never brought a guy with me. So being a mom and still having that career has been very important to me, to raise them the way I saw I wanted to be raised. When we first started our interview, I saw the Brady Bunch, I saw all these different movies, and I thought when I was going to have a family, that's how I wanted to raise them. And I did. We would sit down and have dinner every night, and I would see how their day was, and I would help them with homework. And wow, I was a Girl Scout leader. He was in Boy Scouts for 12 years. I mean, it was just like so great. I was a room mom. Wow. It was really good. When you pay attention to your kids and you're there physically and you're there just to hear them out. When I was being raised as a young kid, my mom always said, children are supposed to be seen and not heard. I raised them differently. They were supposed to be heard and seen. So, and I think that's probably the proudest thing that I've ever been through, is being a single mom and keeping my career and keeping them safe and keeping them, adjusted, well adjusted. And then now they have great careers and they're only 25. Real proud, real proud. You want to see? These are my babies. These are my kids. That's on the red carpet. Yeah, this is me when I was struggling, holding two of them. Life is a challenge, but you can always get through it. Always get through everything and anything. Never think it's the end. Never. It's never the end. I literally, when they were babies and they had the flu, I would be crawling because they gave me the flu. I'd be crawling on my hands and knees to get to them because there was nobody around. It was, I don't wish that on anybody, but I know mothers have experienced what I've gone through. We've all done that, and fathers too. God, sorry if I seem like a crybaby, but it's emotional for me, all this stuff that I've been through. But I am a person who loves this world and loves people and loves what the God has to give me. And I believe in Jesus. You know, I mean, that's just my preference. That's who I go to. I believe in anybody and everything that is positive.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I'm curious. Just I guess you kind of mentioned, you mentioned your faith. Like how, like what, how has your faith kind of, impacted your life and and the journey that you've had.
Wow, really? It's everything. Everything. It is when I was a little kid, I would have to walk to school on Sunset Boulevard. I lived on Sanborn, and then my elementary school was just down the street called Mitchell Tarina. And I would pick flowers from my mom's garden because I had to walk alone, right? And I would give them to every old person that I saw, just because that's how my heart was. And I wanted to see them smile. And that's when I was really little and my family was in gangs and I just wanted to be different. And then when I was about, and I was baptized Catholic and did my first Holy Communion and all that. But when I was about 12, I went to Big Bear Lake and I went with a Christian church and they baptized me in the lake and they were singing real nice songs with guitars around the fire. But I had never seen that in my entire life. I mean, these people were super nice and I was like, whoa, who are these? And so I have been a faithful Christian ever since then. But I, have explored every single religion. I mean, Buddhism and everything, and I just love everything. Whatever's good, I love. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean that I don't love your religion too. I love everybody's religion. As a matter of fact, funny thing, I just recently got a new tattoo. Can you see it? It says faith over fear. Do you see it?
Yeah.
And then I have another tattoo. I have several up here, but another tattoo on the other ankle. And it's my love tattoo, Christian. So I'm walking in faith. I'm walking in love. Whatever brings love to me, to you, to your viewers, whatever brings love is what I love. It's all the religions. It's all the creatures of this universe. It's all everything, you know. It's all about walking in love. That's my religion is love.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, and like seriously, I think like I kind of alluded to earlier, like I said, there can be just a lot of negativity in the world, and I just feel like if we could all just come together and just share a bit of love, no, imagine the things we can do, right?
Absolutely. Endless. It is endless. But there's a lot of evil in this world, a lot.
Hmm.
And it's all the things that we lust about. We all lust about things, and there's a lot of I don't even want to say, but there's just, it's better to love. Love overpowers evil in many ways and in a great force. So if you love in your heart, then you're protected.
Yes, yes. 100%. I absolutely agree with that. I just kind of want to go back to back to the kids. They've done such a great job of raising. Because you mentioned that was probably like what you're most proud of in your life, and listen, I just want to say this. No, your kids, they definitely no, they wouldn't be where they are today, no, without, having such a, positive, good upbringing and having a great mom like yourself. So I definitely
Let
think
me
you
tell,
had an amazing
thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let me tell you how one little trick about what I did. It wasn't a trick, but um when they were growing up it's been 27 years since I have been Christmas caroling to a convalescent home in Los Angeles. It's called Skyline. And I brought my before they were born. I mean, I would go there before they were born and gather all my friends and family and have Christmas carols and I would go bed to bed, not just in the hallways. There's 3 beds per room. And these not patients, but they live there and they haven't spoken in a long time because they have tubes in their mouth and they they forgot who their family was. But what they haven't forgotten was that one Christmas Carol song. So when you go bed to bed, and my rule is you have to wear a Santa hat, you sing that, and you have to look in their eyes and smile. And you feel like crying, and you do cry because they're crying and they're trying to sing with you with the thing in their mouth. I brought my kids for 20 since they were born to do that. I not only do that, but yes, they go to all the red carpets with me. Yes, they see the glamorous life, but they also see that, and it smells like pee, and it smells horrible, and they're yelling and they're screaming, the old people. But you have to maintain, and you have to keep doing it. And I bring Christmas candy canes and presents for them. Their presents, the women are Beanie Babies, and the guys are little cars. And I've been doing that for 27 years. All my friends and family know about that. And then I go to Los Angeles Street in downtown LA, which all the homeless are there, and I make sandwiches, at least 35, 40 sandwiches. And I roll down the windows, and my kids are always in the car. If you ever interview them, you'll know. And all of them come scattering to your windows. And they're all because you have sandwiches and you have things to give them. And that's how I taught my kids the good and the bad. Life isn't all about red carpets. Life isn't all about homeless. It's all a mixture of everything. And that's how they became who they were. And I was hands-on. I paid attention. I did everything. I mean, I took them everywhere with me. And when I couldn't, I would hire a babysitter, but it was hands-on, you know. And you got to show them two different lives, because there's two different lives. You know, a lot of parents hide the bad and the dirty and the evil. But you got to show them, hey, look. And it's not evil. Homeless is not evil. I didn't mean that. I meant people think it's evil and they're scared of it, but don't be scared. They're all just like us. They just have an unfortunate situation. That's all. And then whatever you can do to help them, you know. I try every single day. I wake up, I swear, I wake up every day and ask God, bring me something or somebody that I can help. And it's a miracle, I swear, every day. It's something. It's something. I help somebody every day. I try not to announce it, but when I do, you know, I just want to show that don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of people. Stop when they need you, you know, and I've shown that to my kids. So I try to raise them with dignity and honor, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's great that you know that that when you were raising them, know you made sure to show them what the real world is like. Like you mentioned, the real world is it's not just sunshine and roses as much as we like it to be. That's not how it is. So no, you gotta show them what it's really like. And I just wanted to commend you on that. Because that's I think you did a very solid job.
Appreciate that. Really do. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And like I mean, as we've been talking here, like I mean, it's just truly been amazing to just hear about, now obviously, I think people will know you from, they'll know you as like an actor, right? Wrestling, doing all your stunt work, all the stuff you've done in your career, but learning about like the stuff you've done like as a parent, right? The stuff you've done as a, like motivating others and being a life coach, like all these other things you've done to help out others and help out your kids. That's it's truly been powerful to hear about. Because it's so truly amazing to hear about that stuff. Like honestly.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I think life is about helping and motivating others, don't you? You think it's all about being selfish and keeping it all to yourself?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the I've always thought that if we can all if we can all make a leave a positive impact on each other,
Absolutely.
that can make the world a better place if we can all come together and just help out each other every once in a
Yeah,
while.
exactly. Exactly. I mean, even just your neighbor. If you know you have an elderly neighbor, somebody who just does never get visits and having a hard time going to the store, go pay her a visit. Do you know how blessed your life will be if you do that? Do you know how blessed your life will be if, and you don't tell anybody about it. It's all just within yourself,
Mm.
and if she needs groceries, how amazing would that be just to make one person super happy, and then they'll know that there's still good people out there in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, and I mean, my experiences, sometimes sometimes it can just be something as simple as just, holding the door open for some people,
Absolutely.
or just if you see someone approaching a closing elevator door, no, leave the door open,
Exactly.
even just simple things like that.
Yeah. 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 What my big thing is, I love to go to a store and then if you see the person next to you, even if they don't need it, even if you know they drive a great car, just pay for what they have. I do that all the time. And they're like, "No, no." I'm like, "No, I'm feeling it. Can you let me feel it?" And they're like, "Okay, thank you." And then, oh my God, they will do it to the next person. It's a chain reaction. I like doing it to teenagers when I'm at the store and they're like, spending their little $10 that they have. I'll say, "No, man, you keep your $10. Let me pay for that." And they're like, "What? Why?" I said, "Because maybe one day you'll do that to somebody." And they're like, "Thank you, okay." And really, you just make a little impact.
Yep, yep, absolutely. No, and I can definitely say this, you've made, Noah, you've definitely made a positive impact on a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah, and you've made a positive impact just on the roll with the stuff, that with the stuff that you've done and the way that you were continuing to inspire people to this day. Absolutely.
I try, and even though I'm 60 years old, my life is continuously learning new things and evolving. It's all just keep on moving up the ladder. And I'm hoping that all your listeners that they'll just keep moving up the ladder and don't be stagnant. Don't be stuck. If you're stuck, then look at yourself and say, "I'm more than this. I'm more than this. I need to move on and move up." Oh
Yes,
my God, I'm
absolutely.
crying again. You know, I just I just want to make an impact because people are so powerful and they don't know it and they feel it they lost their power and they haven't. They haven't. And hopefully this show, will show that people like me who came from nowhere, who came from a nothing, can be a something. If you have it in your heart and you know that you can do it, just know you can do it. We can all do it. We can all do anything we want. Just believe in yourself because your friends and your family and your neighbors won't believe in you. Every family that you're trying to hook onto, they won't believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. So you got to start loving yourself big time because nobody will love you as much as you.
Yeah, absolutely. That is very well said. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. You know, no, for the people who are like watching or listening to this, is there would you would you like to share like where any listeners or watchers can find you on social media or find your Etsy store or stuff like that?
Sure. Here's my Etsy store. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, okay.
And that is Etsy.com, shop Mimi Lesseos. And then here's my speaker card. And I'm a keynote speaker. And you could just go to keynote speaker mimilesseos.com. And I get booked by there. And go to Action Diva TV, and that's all my platforms. I will inspire you. I will inspire you. My YouTube, but mainly my platforms are all about making you feel better, making you feel special, making you know that you can do it. You can do it. But it's true, you know, uh, life has been quite an adventure for me. And it's been super good because I made it that way. I made it that way. There's been a lot of stumbles and a lot of people who have tried to help hold me back and hold me down because they don't want me to succeed. But that's okay. I just go around them and I go and keep on. There's so many different avenues, so many different. You don't have to keep following. Don't be a follower, be a leader. I'm a leader. Be that way. Be a leader, you know. And when you're a follower, then you're not living your true life, you know. Start a new trend. Start a happy trend. Happy trends are good. Be happy. A lot of people want us to be depressed and scared. Don't live in fear. Don't live in fear. There's nothing to be scared of. There's a lot of fucking shit out there that people want us to be scared of. Don't be scared. We're powerful, man. We're powerful human beings. We can do anything. Just the fear will keep you back. If you're scared, you will be a smaller, fearful human being. Just try not to be fearful of things and intimidated. Everybody tries to make us intimidated. You see what I did. Don't be intimidated. I just blast through it, because a lot of people always say, well, you can't be that. You didn't go to school. You can't be that. You didn't do it. Fucking blast through it. Don't listen to them. You can do anything you want to be, anything you want to do, anything you want to have, anything. But just don't be materialistic. Don't be money driven. Be heart driven. Be love driven. That's how I always was and always am. I'm drinking a beer, by the way.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, it's life is a challenge, but there's always other choices that you can make, and other opportunities and other careers that you could jump into. You're never stuck. You're never stuck.
Yes, yes, 100%. Well, Mimi, I can tell you this. This conversation, it's absolutely made my day, and it's definitely like I'm telling you this, just having this conversation with you today, it's definitely left an impact on me. So for that, I want to thank you very,
Uh,
very much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Can I read one little thing that I wrote for you guys?
Yeah,
You and your
absolutely.
audience? Don't accept dysfunction. You have a choice. If there's dysfunction in your situation, then get the hell out and make a new one. Help yourself move on and find something else. There's always something else. Always. Break the chain. You are not chained. Break it. Make your own path. You weren't born to be chained by others. Others want to chain us. They want to put us under their thumb and control us. We have our own mind. We have our own body. We have our own everything. We're not meant to be controlled. Use your own decisions to frickin' make your own soul and your own person happy. Because when you're under somebody's thumb, you're not happy. And set up new standards for you, your family, your friends, a new standard. Don't just stick with the old, because that is not evolving. The new standard is always going up to the positive. And one last thing, you are never finished. You're never finished. If you think I'm done, you're never done. Never done.
Yeah, well, that was beautifully said, Mimi. Absolutely, that was, no, that was wonderfully said, and no, and again, I seriously just want to thank you for everything that you've just said on the show today, because it's definitely, like I just mentioned, a couple minutes ago, it's definitely left an impact on me.
Thank you. I hope so. It's like you're my son. I hope so. I wish you the best. I send you all the blessings. You feel my blessings?
Oh yeah, I can feel it
I
right
send you
here.
all the blessings in the world. Really. I want to uplift you so you could uplift your audience.
Gosh, seriously, thank you so much, Mimi. And just once again, thank you so much for letting me have this opportunity to talk with you today. I'm just truly an honor. Seriously.
Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you, Sam. And may you be blessed and all your audience be blessed too. Shit, you got me crying, motherfucker.
Well, hey,
Thank you, and bless your audience. Love you guys.